So this is my 5th year homeschooling, I believe. I'm only homeschooling 2 of my 3 children this year because our oldest decided that she was going to go back to school for 6th grade. But I am homeschooling 1st grade and 3rd grade. And I just got my Good and the Beautiful in the mail today, so I wanted to run through it with y'all and explain why we're using this program, what we like about it. I've watched a million of these videos, and I think it helps when you're homeschooling. You don't have like a clear-cut path, you know, which program is this, what does it look like, stuff like that. So I thought I'd show you why we have decided, again, to use this program. It's our 2nd year to use it, and we really liked it. I felt like of all the programs I've used in the last 5 years, this program has been the most comprehensive regarding what they needed to learn for each grade level. Well, they really double wrapped this year. Probably should have done this before. Didn't realize there was going to be a ton of bubble wrap. I don't think they did that before. So you can see I'm really just opening this for the first time. This is, which one is this? Here's one of the readers. You do have to get this additional, but it's not required for the program. It's more if you want to do it, and we do them. They've been good books so far. I do believe that's the program reader, not for this grade level, but I'm not real sure. Okay, so this is level 1. This will be my son's. These are going to be his readers. I know they switched the way that they did this year because there used to be like several books and they try to condense this down. So the reader is full of a bunch of short stories that they'll have to read. And they'll give them a certain amount of minutes a day they're supposed to be reading, or certain pages. And the content of the books are safe, I guess you could say. I'm not really that big into safe books, but I don't have to read this and make sure he's getting a bad message, which sometimes certain books do that, and it's fine, but anyhow. You can trust the books, it's just what I like, that it's not going to condone stealing or anything like that. Here's the course book and the phonics cards. I love the phonics cards. My son hates the phonics cards, but my daughter memorized them all very quickly, and it's working. Some of those letter sounds like GH or AUGH, things like that are hard to, you just pretty much have to memorize, and it's really helped her with her reading. Okay, so here's how I did this before. Let me grab this. This is the Level K course book, and to keep it more organized, I use these little tabs. Like here, I have sight words, so I can just flip to sight words and real quick, and when we do our sight words in the morning. And then I have spelling words. And then I have poems, because there's poetry memorization in these books, which my son actually loves. And then it goes into the lessons from there. So I will be doing that with this book as well, because it makes it so much easier to figure out where you're going. Okay, so this one starts off with the directions, how to use the program. And then it's going to have them working on certain phonics cards. And when they complete cards 1 through 56, they get to color the squirrel. They love that. And then the dog. And then at 91 through 124, they get to color a horse. And it shows you how to organize your phonics cards so that you can do like, okay, they kind of have this, so it's learning, mastered, or not learned. And then here's your sight words. So you'll have your sight word lists, and each one, when they complete it, you check mastered, and then they get to come back and color something. So it says Once the chart is mastered and the child can read all the words on the chart, they get to color one of the pictures below. And they'll like this because then they can pick, oh, I want to color the peacock. And they'll get excited, like, I can't wait to color the peacock. And they'll work harder. It's just kind of a good motivation to keep them going. And this is a good reason to have these little sticky dividers, because the poetry in this book appears to be in the back, as well as the spelling charts. So that makes it easier just to find it real quick. And so here's like some spelling lists. And then they have mastered, you can check, and reviewed. So let's say the word live, L-I-V-E. Once they have it mastered, you can check it, and then you're going to go back over and make sure that they really have it. And then when they complete chart 1, they get to color this guy, and so on and so forth. And they like that. And then there's the poetry memorization section. And some of these are actually really good, like the 30 Days Half September poem and things like that help them memorize the months. And they have a poem on nouns and verbs, so that's helping them memorize what a noun and a verb is, obviously. They also, another reason I like this is because a lot of times when we're homeschooling and we just use like a language program, there's no art or geography, so we have to use a separate program for art and a separate program for geography. And you're just like running around like, am I getting everything? Am I teaching them everything they need to know? You know, are they falling behind in art? You know, would they get a better art education in school? But this has art built into it, and this has geography built into it. My daughter, who just went to public school this year, she's doing really well. And I think that this program really prepared her for that. I mean, she's testing high on their tests. Don't get me started on their tests. But she's excelling. So another thing I really love, and I'm seeing this here, they have rules such as the silent E rule. They'll explain like, you know, when you have the vowel say its name, and they have like things that the kids actually memorize. And they have fun little games in here too. Like, my kids look forward to these pages. They want to finish the page before so that they can get to this page. And the other thing they love is that there's these little check boxes. So they have to practice phonics cards here, and then here they get to check it off when they're done. And then they come over here and they check it off when they're done. And I mostly let them check it off unless they're not in the mood. And then they get excited, like, okay, I get to check it. Do I get to check it now? So it's just little motivations. And the artwork is always really great in these books. They're bright and colorful. I mean, how cute is this? The 222. It's just cute stuff. And it makes it a lot more bearable than just sitting at like a boring book where you're just trying to go through. Kids like color. And if we want to teach them, we have to teach them the way their brains think. They like colorful things. They like games. They like interaction. Most of us aren't homeschooling to just sit here and read off of a page and stare at our child. So that's one thing I really like about that. Okay, so that was level 1. And I also ordered level 3. This is for my daughter, who's going to be going into 3rd grade this year. Let me get all of this out of the way. And back to more bubble wrap. Sorry for all the bubble wrapping. I guess we just know the books came in very clean and with no bins, because they were very, very carefully packaged, obviously. And I'm sure the kids are going to have fun playing with bubble wrap later. Because in all honesty, kids love bubble wrap more than just about anything. Okay. So here we are. Favorite Classics Volume 1 reader. So they actually have 2 readers for this program. It's going to be Volume 1 and Volume 2, which tells me there's going to be a lot of reading, which is good. Reading not only helps, obviously, their reading ability, but it also helps spelling, and it helps punctuation, and it helps reiterate those things. So this looks like it's a bunch of there's chapter books in here. Let's see. And they've got like little pictures, just a little bit. At this age level, they still like pictures, obviously, but you don't want them to be, full of pictures, because you're really trying to focus on the reading here. So those are those 2. And I don't know how many minutes or how many how long they're supposed to be reading or how many pages this year, because I obviously haven't done level 3 yet with this program. I've done 5, kindergarten and 2nd. So then here's an example of, earlier I was talking about some of that art. Here's an example of a painting that is in these. The art quality is really good. They talk about shading and shadows and, what do you see in this and all kinds of stuff. I'm going to hold it real still. But they really get into the depth of the paintings, which is what I like. Things that maybe we just glance at a painting, and this will say, okay, well, where do you see the light hitting, and what direction is the light coming from, and all that kind of stuff in their questions. And then they're really hitting just good grammar, commas in a series, which there to use, things that a lot of grown-ups have trouble with sometimes. And then we're getting more into writing, it looks like here. Here's little writer's workshop once again. Cute little picture. I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can. Open syllable words. We're getting into some big words here, which is great. Demanded, circulate. Just to back up on that real quick, Good and the Beautiful is not necessarily the same as the grade level your kid would be in school. There's a test to take for each child. You may have a 5th grader who needs to be at this level, or you may have, a kindergartner who's in level 1 or level 2. It all depends on, what their reading ability is. Can they read and spell those big words? I found that this stuff is ahead. It's ahead of what the state standards would be for each grade level. We live in Texas. Texas sets a lot of the standards for other states. So I actually have an app on my phone that has the Texas state standards, so I'm pretty well aware of where they are and where they're supposed to be. Which helped when my daughter decided to go to public school this year. She was ready. She was ready because she was doing 7th grade work in 5th grade because of this program. She was doing hard stuff. She was doing really hard stuff. And so the 5th grade book it's really like a lot of like old English and stuff like that. It's hard to read even for some adults. So I feel like it really, really sets them up. But don't put them in over their heads either. My 3rd grader is probably ahead of where she would be if she was in public school. She's just naturally been a real good reader. My son has struggled through level K, and it has been brutal to get him to read. Even though we pulled this one and we got it in the mail, he's not ready. We will probably wait another few weeks for him, in all honesty, as I finish the level K book, because he hasn't finished it. When I look at level K, I think, wow, this is some stuff we've done in 2nd grade with my older daughter. So just to put that out there, go on the Good and the Beautiful website, take the tests, sit down and really think about it, because you don't want to jump them ahead and then they've missed stuff. And then they're drowning, like not drowning, but they feel like overwhelmed by the course load or by the words they're trying to read. And that's not fun for any of you. Not you, not the child, nobody. So anyhow, back to this. Spelling rules, CKs and things like that. They've gone in here. This geography connection is amazing. And in the upper grades, they actually have geography cards where they're memorizing countries. I don't think they get there yet in 3rd grade, or level 3, I'm sorry. But here, you know, your kid's going to learn where France, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Portugal, United Kingdom are on a map. And I love that because in our schools, they aren't doing this. They aren't learning their states in our state. My daughter knows her states, my older daughter. She knows her states, she knows her countries, she knows her continents, she knows which ocean is where. These are life skills, in my opinion, that people just need to know. And I think every American should know your states, your capitals, and where they're located. I think that should be standard. And in our state, that's been taken off the plate, and it's not something I really agree with. So I was really grateful to be able to homeschool her through that. And the Good and the Beautiful had the cards, and we did them, and she memorized them. And she's actually been to, I think, 19 states because we travel. So anyhow, so when I mentioned the Pennyworth character, was packaged with level 1. This isn't a level 1 book. This is a level 3 book, as I thought it was. Here it is. And it'll tell you, you know, read this. This is about the author. And then it'll go into, you know, you read this section, and then it'll want you to summarize stuff. My other daughter and I are working on this right now with a different book. Pronouns, it goes into all that. There are grammar cards later on. And then, so that's basically it. Let's see, more artwork. And here's what I mean. Here it has labeling states. This is starting in level 3. So it starts pretty young with this. And then it has editing. So it's really, like I said, it's all encompassing. You're doing spelling, you're doing grammar, you're doing editing, you're doing art, you're doing geography all in one, and poetry. Here is your course companion. So the course companion for level K and level 1 is built into the book. This one is separate, just as it was for level 2. So this is where I would get out my little sticky tabs, and I would divide it up so that here's your daily checklist. You're supposed to practice spelling words for 5 to 10 minutes. Practice challenging word flashcards. I'll show you those in a minute. I just saw them. For 5 minutes, and then complete 30 to 45 minutes in the course book. This is not a do one lesson a day. Some of these lessons are really short. Some of these lessons are really long. Some of these lessons, there's no way we could finish in an hour and a half. So what it says is, you know, you do 30 to 45 minutes, you shut it down. They don't want you to overdo it, trying to push through a lesson, and then your kid ends up miserable and you end up miserable. So you know, 30 to 45 minutes a day, that's it. 5 minutes of this, 5 minutes of that, and then here it is when I said about the reader. It's going to be for at least 20 minutes. So you are looking at about an hour of work, but it's not an hour for one subject like we've talked about. It is art, it is geography, it is editing. It's like the whole thing. So I would have this divided up. Here's your spelling, and once again, when they complete a section, they get to color the picture. And these are some tricky words right off the bat. Paragraph, that's a PH, PH that sounds like an F. So you have some hard stuff. And then it tells you how to do the spelling, We use a lot of flashcards, and I keep this handy. And we just put whatever flashcard we're working on in here. And I actually divide these up into little sections with mastered learning and all of that in here. This is the level 2 course companion that I was talking about a minute ago. Here's all my little tabs to make things easier. And in this one, as opposed to level 1, it has maps. So there's a map section. And that's helpful when they're labeling continents and stuff to be able to get to it quickly. In here we have our poetry, The Valley of the Grump, A Dragonfly. They're just really, really cute poems. And my kids have fun with them, like I said. And then here's a glossary of terms. This is nice. Adjective, adverb, articles, pronouns, proper nouns, prepositions, verbs. Good and the Beautiful does, I haven't checked this one. They do, now I can't remember what it's called. When you break down your sentence. Sentence diagramming. Here we go. They do them. It's not as based on sentence diagramming as some of the other programs we've done before. Some people love doing diagramming, some people don't. Some of the programs we've done, it makes it so tedious because it's so much. This is one page, and then they're moving on to decoding different words. Well, those are some big words: abbreviation, veterinarian, hierarchy. And then they're done for a while, and then it'll come back later. But I feel like it really covers a broad range of things that they need to know in language. And, you know, we've just been so happy with this program. There's some more art. Look at this. If you can see. It's just beautiful work. And then after this, you know, you do your history. There is a Good and the Beautiful history. We haven't done it yet. We are working on the Good and the Beautiful's botany program right now. Lots of experiments, hands-on, drawing, things like that. The kids love it. And they do have a math program now. We actually do Saxon math. We've stuck with Saxon math. I tutor upper grades, and when my daughter has come in and she's with people her grade level, she's always been able to explain to them what's going on. Saxon is very good. So I'm sure the Good and the Beautiful is great too. But we have something that works for us, and that's kind of the trick to homeschooling, is finding out what works for you. Because what works for me may not work for you. And what works for one kid may not even work for the other. I have a kid, my son is very hyper. He has a very hard time sitting still. So I modify the school for him. We have to take lots of breaks. We have to get our energy out. We have to do all kinds of stuff. He has a very hard time sitting still. Whereas my third grade daughter, she wants to get her work done. She's focused. She keeps me on track. So, you know, it is what it is. But this program I've just felt has been so wonderful that I'm going to go ahead and use it for both of them. And my son will probably just work through it a little slower, and that's fine. Because it's not up to grade level. It's ahead. Okay. So here we have TU, can say CH, all kinds of really good stuff. But anyhow, as a whole, I just really like this, and we are excited to be using it again. And it's just really good printing too. Oh, this is one thing I was going to show you. These are the challenge words that are coming in. So these are some harder words, and I think it's great that they're introducing them to this way, because some of these words you can't sound out nationally. You kind of have to memorize that the TI in that particular word is an SH sound. So anyhow, that's what I wanted to share with y'all, and if you have any questions, just send them on my way.